We're always told that being smart is the ticket to a great life. So, what if it's the very thing that's holding you back? If you were the kid who was always told you had so much potential, but now you feel stuck, wrestling with anxiety and paralyzed by a brain that just won't shut off, you're not just imagining it. And you are definitely not broken. For some of the most intelligent people, that powerful brain comes with a few hidden challenges, a dark side that can lead to overthinking, isolation, and a frustrating pattern of getting in your own way. In this video, we're exploring the paradox of a powerful mind and the hidden struggles that some of the smartest people face. We'll break down why it happens and what you can do to finally take back control. From the outside, a high IQ looks like a superpower, but for those living with it, that power can sometimes feel like a curse. Let's break down 5 potential pitfalls that can come with a highly analytical mind. Pitfall 1. The overthinking trap and amp, the anxiety connection. The first and most common struggle is a mind that never stops running. A highly intelligent brain is a pattern recognition machine, constantly analyzing, connecting, and simulating outcomes. While that's amazing for solving a tough problem at work, it can be a nightmare in everyday life. You're not just having a conversation, your mind is running a background diagnostic. What did they really mean by that? Did I say the right thing? What are the 10 possible ways they could have interpreted that look? This isn't just thinking a lot. It can become a state of hyper-awareness where your brain fixates on potential negatives, running them on a loop. Some studies suggest a link between these cognitive patterns and a higher likelihood of experiencing anxiety. While a high IQ isn't a direct cause of anxiety disorders and may even be a protective factor for some, the tendency to overanalyze can fuel a cycle of worry, creating stress out of thin air. You're not just worried, you're running incredibly detailed, catastrophic simulations in your head all the time. Pitfall 2. The curse of seeing all possibilities, aka analysis paralysis. You'd think being smart means making better decisions, right? Well, sometimes the exact opposite is true. Highly intelligent people can be especially vulnerable to something called analysis paralysis, where thinking too much about a decision prevents you from ever making one. Because you can see every angle, every potential outcome, and every opportunity you'd lose, the sheer volume of information is overwhelming. You might spend 3 weeks researching the perfect laptop instead of just buying a good one and starting your project. Or you might endlessly debate the pros and cons of a new job, only to stay in the one you hate because no choice feels 100% flawless. This paralysis is often driven by a fear of being wrong. When your identity is tied to being the smart one, making a mistake can feel like a personal failure. So, paradoxically, the smartest thing to do, just act, is the one thing your brain gets in the way of. Pitfall 3. The loneliness of a different mind. One of the deepest pains reported by some highly intelligent people is a profound sense of isolation. When your mind operates on a different wavelength, finding people who not only get your complex ideas but are actually excited by them can be incredibly rare. Small talk can feel painfully dull, not because you're arrogant, but because your brain craves depth and genuine connection. This leads to a tough choice. Do you dumb yourself down to fit in, which feels fake and draining, or do you stay true to yourself and risk being seen as intimidating or weird? This isn't just about being alone. It's the feeling of being lonely in a crowded room, of having an internal world that few people can visit, let alone understand. Pitfall 4. The crushing weight of potential. If you were called gifted as a kid, you know the word potential all too well. It's meant to be a compliment, but after a while, it can feel like a threat. This is the heart of what's now called gifted kid burnout. When everyone constantly tells you that you're capable of amazing things, it creates this enormous pressure to succeed at everything. This pressure can create a crippling fear of failure. You might avoid trying new things unless you're sure you'll be great at them right away. The idea of not living up to your potential is so scary that it can lead to procrastination and self-sabotage. Your self-worth gets tangled up with your achievements, and any mistake feels like proof that you were a fraud all along. This exhaustion, born from years of trying to be what everyone expects, is a classic recipe for burnout. Pitfall 5. The paradox of poor decisions. Now for one of the most surprising truths. Being smart doesn't always protect you from bad decisions. In fact, it can make you better at defending them. How? Because an intelligent mind is an expert at rationalization. When a highly intelligent person makes an error, their brain can construct sophisticated, logical-sounding arguments for why that terrible decision was actually the right one all along. This is a dangerous cognitive bias known as the intelligence trap. Because smart people are often more confident in their own thinking, they can be less likely to look for evidence that proves them wrong. They can fall victim to overconfidence, assuming their intellect makes them immune to error. So while someone else might realize their mistake and correct course, a highly intelligent person might build a fortress of logic around their error, doubling down on a bad path because their ego can't stand to be wrong. If you see yourself in any of this, don't lose hope. The goal isn't to be less smart, it's to develop the wisdom to manage your intelligence. Here are 3 practical ways to get started. Reframe 1. Tame the overthinking machine. Your mind is a tool, not your master. The first step is to create some distance from your thoughts. Practices like mindfulness meditation aren't just trendy. They are essential training for an overactive mind. They teach you to observe your thoughts as they pass by, without getting swept away by them. Here's a simple technique to try. Schedule worry time. Seriously. Set aside 15 minutes a day where you give yourself permission to overthink everything. When an anxious thought pops up at another time, just tell yourself, "Thanks, but not now. I'll deal with this tonight at 6. This trick acknowledges the thought without letting it hijack your day, putting you back in the driver's seat. Reframe 2. Embrace imperfect action. For smart people, perfect is the enemy of done. The antidote to analysis paralysis is to embrace what's called imperfect action. Instead of searching for the absolute best solution, aim for a good enough one that lets you move forward. Lower the stakes on your decisions. If you're stuck, ask yourself, what's one small reversible step I can take right now? Maybe that's just sending one email, writing a single paragraph, or trying a new hobby for just one class. Action creates data. You will learn far more from taking a small step and adjusting your path than you ever will from standing still and just thinking about it. Reframe 3. Redefine your identity and amp. Practice humility. You are so much more than your intellect. When your whole identity is tied up in being the smart one, it becomes incredibly fragile. It's time to diversify your sense of self. Be the kind friend, the adventurous traveler, the clumsy but enthusiastic painter. The more your self-worth is spread across different parts of your life, the less a single failure will feel like a complete catastrophe. This also means practicing intellectual humility, the ability to recognize the limits of your own knowledge and to say the three most liberating words, "I don't know," or "I might be wrong." True wisdom isn't about proving you're the smartest person in the room. It's about being open enough to listen, learn, and connect with the people in it. If any of this is hitting home, I'd love for you to share your experience in the comments. Which of these pitfalls do you struggle with the most? Sharing your story doesn't just help you process it. It helps create a community for others who felt exactly the same way. High intelligence isn't a curse, but it is a complex gift that you have to learn how to handle. The anxiety, the paralysis, and the loneliness you might feel aren't signs that you're broken. They are the potential side effects of a mind that runs faster and sees more than most. By understanding these hidden challenges, you can start to treat them not as personal failings, but as technical problems you can solve. It's about learning to tame your magnificent brain, to embrace imperfection, and to build an identity that's as rich and multifaceted as your intellect. It's about shifting from being a victim of your own mind to becoming its master. You already have the best tool there is. Now it's time to learn how to use it.